Today, I'm excited to share with you a recipe that's perfect for the fall season. A simple yet incredibly flavorful soup that will stun your dinner guest or work for a simple weeknight meal. Join me as I challenge myself to make a very delicious pumpkin soup that everyone will love. If you've ever made a pumpkin soup and just ended up with a pot of bland and inspiring broth of sorts, then you're going to want to know what my secret ingredient is. Let's head to the kitchen. Today we're making soup à potimarron. Bienvenue, welcome to Go Cuisine. I'm Miss K, and I'm glad that you're here. Let's get started. My trick is I don't use pumpkin, or not like this. I actually use a squash. I use a red curry squash. This is what it looks like. This one is a huge one. You can get a smaller one. Cute, isn't it? In French we call this potimarron. And you're going to need about 700 grams or a pound and a half. So part of this guy. We're also going to need 2 sweet potatoes, an onion and a small potato, some butter, oil, salt, and pepper. First things first, we got to get the seeds out of this guy. Now these squash are hard to cut, so I would recommend using a very thin blade knife to get through it. And then we're just going to scoop the seeds out with a spoon, ta-da, and chop it up. I just chopped up my sweet potato, my red curry squash, my potatoes, all into these nice big cubes. We're going to boil this and puree it, so about the same size. They don't have to be perfect. My onion I cut about like this. So again, rough chop, doesn't have to be perfect. Look at that, the squash turned my board orange, but there you go, a nice rough chop on the onion. Next we're going to melt our butter and a little bit of oil in a pot. And then we're going to saute our veg, starting with the onions. We're just going to saute until they're translucent. Be sure to give them a good stir every now and then. We don't want it to burn. We don't want any color. We're just trying to get them to release their flavors. That looks pretty good. That took about 2 or 3 minutes. And then we're going to add the rest of the vegetables and give them a quick saute. Now for this next step, you can use water and bouillon like I'm going to, or you can use broth, whichever you have handy. You just need enough water to cover these vegetables. It's going to be about half a liter or about 4 cups of water. You can add more if you want it more liquid. You can add less if you want it thicker. You can see this doesn't completely cover my vegetables. I'm just giving it a good stir, making sure nothing's stuck to the bottom, and making sure everyone's covered so they get nice and soft. Now we did saute them, but just for a little while to get everybody coated in that butter. But this is where you're really going to cook your vegetables down. And if you feel like it's not enough, add a little bit more water. We are going to add a little bit of cream to this later, so keep that in mind when you're thinking about your ratio. Now, like I said, I'm adding some bouillon paste. This is just vegetable bouillon paste, and I'm just adding it to taste. You can read the directions on your package, and it'll tell you how much you need for 4 cups of water. And you just make sure that gets dissolved. Once it gets to a good boil, you can turn the heat down a bit. Just maintain that simmer. Give it a stir every now and then. And when all the vegetables are tender, we can use our stick blender to blend this up. Now for safety, you want to keep this stick blender submerged in your liquid. Never pull it out while it's running. You could splash yourself with hot liquid. And we don't want any injuries. Just keep moving that blender around until you don't have any chunks left. Or if you like it chunky, you could stop halfway, but I'm going for smooth. If you don't have a stick blender, you could put this in your regular blender a little bit at a time, but do be careful. Put a towel over the top because this is hot liquid and we do not want any injuries, like I said, so use caution. Now, I told you I'm adding cream to mine. I'm going to use some crème fraiche that I made. We make our own. You can certainly buy it. If you don't have it, you could just use some heavy cream here. Crème fraiche is thick like sour cream, but unlike sour cream, when you heat it, it doesn't separate out. So if you want to serve this with sour cream, you could do that, but I wouldn't add it into the soup because you'll get a curdled look and you don't want that. We need about half a cup, about 10 centiliters of this crème fraiche. And I guess if you wanted to cut the fat, we could substitute this with half and half, or maybe even evaporated milk. I haven't tried the evaporated milk, but I know it works in a lot of other instances where you need to substitute for a lower fat option. Check out my mad camera skills, guys. Now I'm just going to blend this again. You could just stir it again with a spoon, but I just want to really make sure I don't have any chunks in here. So a quick little blend, and then this baby is ready to serve. I mean, look at this creamy goodness. Taste it for salt and pepper. You can add more if you like. You can add more bouillon if you want, if it doesn't have the right flavor. But this looks good to go. Nice and creamy. And smooth. I serve this with another dollop of crème fraiche or sour cream, and then you can add as little as much as you want. Look how good this is. I mean, who could argue with this? Get ready to screenshot this recipe. And if you need another dinner idea, check out these YouTube videos. I hope you guys enjoy this. Bon appetit. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sorry about my long absence, guys. I'm gonna try to do better. Until next time, au revoir. Thanks for watching.